All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have Demetric from United Photography on the show.
Hey,
Welcome, Demetric.
hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Good, good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, thanks for tuning
super
in.
excited.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of your work, and so I just
Thanks,
wanted
man.
to kind of have you on the show, and specifically regarding weddings, you do a good amount of weddings. So I just kind of wanted to chat with you regarding that kind of work. How'd you first get into weddings, and then I guess to take a step back from there, how'd you first get into photography in general?
Yeah, man. For starters, I'm always thankful whenever someone stumbles across my work and actually sees the value that I'm putting out there. Because, as a photographer, you spend so much time just trying to like find your style and find the message
Right.
that you want put out into the world. And I guess like that journey never ends though, but I've spent a lot of time just trying to get there. And then, so it's always cool, man, to see people reach out and just showing appreciation for the work I put out there. For me, my background is in street photography. So I remember when like the iPhone 4 specifically came out, and I was that member in the group of friends that always wanted to find the good lighting, and the girls are always like, no, let Dimitri take the picture. He cares, and it kind of grew from there. And then I grew up in Arlington, which is several blocks I feel from DC. So I used to walk around DC and I took pictures with my phone of like the art, the buildings in DC, and then from buildings went to just doing phone portraits of people. And then when Instagram kind of blew up, I started a iPhone photography page, and then that kind of just slowly just started snowballing from there. And then I bought a cheap DSLR, and then I was at this time I was a project manager, and it was tough, long hours. I have a family, I have kids, and it was getting to me just being away from home a lot. And then I remember just sitting down, and I was trying to think to myself, like, what is the one thing that I like to do that I feel like I can just do every day. And I like, you know, kind of looked over and I was like, man, I take pictures. Like, let's try to do that. And yeah, had that a Canon T6 specifically, and ended up doing an engagement shoot for like $40. And then it's like, and it was like the rest was history from there. It kind of turned into a wedding of a friend of mine for like $500. And then I found that weddings are almost like street photography. It's very unpredictable, and you're always looking for the moments, and it could happen at any given time. And that's what drawn me to weddings, because like I said, my background's in street photography, and that's why I just kept going along with it, man. So now, I got a couple photographers on the team, and we do anywhere from 60 to 70 weddings a year. We also do a lot of conferences in DC, but weddings is definitely the big interest when it
Yeah,
comes to photography, though. Yeah.
sure. For sure, man. So that's a lot of weddings. How many of that is you versus your team?
So I personally probably do around 40.
40. Okay.
I did like 40 this year, and the rest were just associate shoots. My associate shooting the wedding, so we
Yeah,
do quite a bit of weddings, man.
yeah. What's one of your favorite places that you've shot at? Uh,
So it's funny. I sometimes get this question from like my couples when like we're trying to figure out where to do the engagement sessions. And so my answer is just, it's corny, right? It's going to be a very corny answer, and I always lean I always kind of bounce that question back to my couples, like wherever my clients are most. Oh man, sorry,
it's all good.
motion detector. So wherever my clients are most comfortable at, wherever whatever place that brings out their authentic self makes the shoot just fun. And when they're having a good time, I'm having a good time. And when I'm having a good time, my creativity just opens up. And like I can turn. Are you familiar with a lot of DC photographers?
I mean, a little bit, I guess.
So, do you know a photographer named his name's Sam Hurd?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So like I learned a lot from Sam. I took a lot of his workshops. So like when I get into that creative space, it's like you can pretty much turn anything into a good spot to shoot, right? Um, in terms of like venues, if you want to go like that route, St. Francis Hall, I don't know if you've ever been there, is is probably one of my favorite venues in the specifically in DC.
Yeah.
Cool people. It's beautiful. Like the outside, they have this amazing gardens, amazing church. It's just all around nice. But yeah. So like as far as the wedding venue, St. Francis Hall, hands down my favorite. And then wherever my couple is, wants to have the most fun, like we'll get pizza and have a shoot in the pizzeria. We'll get some ice cream and do a little ice cream shoot, whatever, man.
Yeah.
you know.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about the wedding, kind of getting into weddings from street photography and kind of the
Yeah.
similarities there. But I think looking at your work, you definitely have I think a certain look, a certain feel, and a certain like eye to all your work. How did you, I guess, kind of develop that style, and how would you, I guess, describe kind of the way you approach wedding photography?
Yeah, so I like to, so since my background is street photography, so my composition stems from shooting a lot of architecture, right? So I always find a big, wide composition and then find a good place to place my couples. Versus, I know a lot of people tend to lean more towards the emotion, which I do as well, but I know the fun in like weddings and couple sessions for me is being able to like create these um grandiesque, I think that's the word,
Mhm.
kind of photos. If you're familiar
Yeah,
with two-man studios, they
I don't
do,
think so.
yeah, man, check them out. They do a lot of like big places, little people type of photos, which I love. And as far as like my style goes, it kind of goes back to what I was mentioning in the beginning, just repetition. Like I do tons of weddings, I do tons of shoots, so it's one of those things where you just keep shooting and shooting and shooting, and then your style is going to evolve like just over time naturally. I remember like a couple of days ago, I just happened to be like looking for a specific photo, and I came across like one of my very first like weddings I did. It was like wedding two or three. And then I was like, dang, I was like, I thought I was like decent, like okay back then. Like I'm pretty decent now. Like in the photos, when I look back at those photos, I'm like people actually paid me for this, you know. Um, so it's just it comes with time, and you get influenced by a lot of people, whether it be like their style or the way they post process their colors. You may lean more towards a saturated green or desaturated green or reds or blues, and um, it's just there's so much influence, especially with social media. So I would
Yeah,
say as you're just consuming content on a daily basis and you're just
yeah,
shooting weddings after weddings after weddings, your style just naturally evolve.
yeah, for sure. And I think as someone who does primarily just a lot of video work, definitely, definitely that growth over time when you look back and it's just like,
Yeah.
what was I doing? But I think that comes through, like you mentioned, like pushing yourself, doing it a lot, and getting that inspiration, looking at a lot of work too, and then just constantly each wedding just trying to do like a little bit better,
Mhm.
change something up, improve a little bit. Um,
Sure.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, kudos to you for
Um,
doing video, man. Video's a beast. Uh,
yeah.
well, one time I offered a free video for one of my couples because
Ooh,
I had it in my head. I was like, I could do video, right? Like I can anticipate moments in weddings, so I can do video, and I can't do video. It's just I just can't do it, man.
yeah.
I just can't
Yeah.
do it.
People kind of put it in the same category as photography, but they do have their similarities, but they are very
Mhm.
different also.
It's very different. So kudos to you, man, for sure.
Well, just to wrap up shortly, I always like to end with this question, but is if you had just I guess one word of advice for couples who are planning a wedding, maybe looking for a venue, looking for a photographer, anything that you would say to them.
Yes. I love this question. One of the things I always like to wrap up whenever I have an initial consultation with couples is that they want to find someone that they can genuinely connect with, right? Cameras are so advanced nowadays. Your average person can grab a $6,000 camera and take a good photo, a decent photo, right? But the thing is, what separates the the average from the good, better, best photographers is their ability to connect and to really just vibe with you and your your partner and your family, because you're inviting them into the most important part of your entire life. I'm sorry. And then so you actually want to genuinely like that person, because the more comfortable you'll feel with that person, the more you're going to be yourself. And the more you can be yourself throughout the entire day, the better emotions and the better photos and images we would, as photographers and videographers, would be able to create for you. So that when 20 years from now, you're looking at your wedding video, your album, and you can actually feel the clips and feel the images instead of just, you know, just kind of looking at some stills and not
Yeah,
feeling anything really.
for sure.
So it's all about getting to know the person that you want to join on your day. Obviously, budget matters, but spend more time asking questions about that individual versus what kind of camera are you shooting with? Do you shoot film or digital? Like those questions are obsolete. Um, it's all about the person. Get to know the person.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that so much. I resonate with that a lot because I mean, as a videographer, and photographer too. You're there next to the couple like all day, right? So it's that much more important that they like you, they connect with you, just as a person. And I think that,
Exactly.
like you said, that adds so much more when they do look back at the photos. They it's a completely positive experience and feeling versus a photographer that maybe they just didn't know, didn't connect with, or didn't have that, I guess, connection with. So,
Exactly. Exactly. 1000%, man.
yeah. Well, cool. All right, Demetric, photography. Thank you for being on the show. I'll link your socials and your site and everything below, so people can check you out. But yeah, I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, awesome, man. This has been fun. This is one of my first times ever being interviewed as a photographer. So, thank you for the opportunity. I definitely looking forward to checking out that episode whenever you put it on there.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next time.